Test. Testing. Let me know if you can hear me. If anybody can, you can hear me, Jay? Am I live already? Oh, good. Okay. All right. So we are here live. Wonderful. Hi, everyone. I'd love to start with checking in and seeing where people are tuning in from. Oh, hi, Kristen. Hi, Jess. Hi, everyone. Antoinette. Yay. Okay, Vancouver Island, Sweden, the UK. Wonderful. Maria Pia from Sweden, Minneapolis. Hi, Sanjay. Wow, look at all these places. Washington, Ottawa. Do I ever do in-person training? Actually, okay, so I'm going to go over the questions that got submitted. I think that was one of them. West Virginia, Germany, Colorado, Denver. Lots of people from the UK. Wonderful, Saskatchewan. Hello, everyone. Okay, so this is going to be a live practice for the summer solstice and Yoga Nidra practice, and we'll dive into some pre-practices as well, because I've been getting a lot of questions about that lately. Texas, oh, from India. Hi, Santoshi from India. Camilla, wonderful. So I'll go over, oh, in Holland, great. I'll go over some of the questions that I'll be answering today after the practice, just so that you guys have an idea of what we're going to dive into in the Q&A after our practice together. So one of the questions was, what are some of your summer solstice rituals that you might do this week? In your recordings, you talk about the ancient wisdom of Yoga Nidra that comes from India. Can you speak more about that? Yes, we'll dive into that a little bit more today as well. I'm a life coach, and I think Yoga Nidra could benefit my clients for mindset. Do I need to have a yoga teacher training to guide my clients in Yoga Nidra? We'll go into that a little bit. What are some of the best asanas and restorative postures before Yoga Nidra? We talk about that, but we'll experience a little bit about that before we begin the practice. Hello from the Ukraine, from the Canary Islands, Spain, Finland. Oh, amazing. Dubai. Oh, you guys, this is amazing. Okay, and then the last question is, do you have a live in-person yoga or Yoga Nidra training? So we'll dive into all of those questions after the practice. Wow. Italy, UK. Wow, so many people from all over the world. Thank you all so much for tuning in. I feel very grateful how many people join me live for these sessions. It's so nice to connect with everyone in real time, as most of the interactions I have with a lot of you are in the comments on YouTube, and I can't always see all of them. So this is cool to see them happening and coming in live and connecting with all of you live. Oh, Stefano, hello, I see you there. Restful stillness. And California, wonderful. Portugal, oh, I'll be coming to Portugal soon. Kristen Rose and I and Emma are hosting a retreat in Portugal in September, and I think we only have 2 or 3 spots left. So that's going to be amazing. Yes. So I can give you guys more details about that if anybody's interested. But first, we are going to dive into one of these questions a little bit in the beginning, because I'd love to explore a couple of pre-practices with you all today before our Yoga Nidra practice. And in the honor of the summer solstice, we'll do a little bit of Surya pranayama together. But also, I wanted to share some of my most favorite asanas, as that was one of the one of the questions. And my most favorite restorative posture as well for pre-practices for Yoga Nidra. Hi, Lucas from Poland. Wonderful. Haley, Yoga Nidra has helped massively through horrible panic attacks. That has been true for me as well. So I could also talk about that a little bit at the end if there's time, but I come from a background of severe panic attacks and anxiety, which I have not experienced in over a decade now. Thank you to the practice of Yoga Nidra and the wisdom of yoga and Yoga Nidra and meditation as well, and lots of pranayama practices. We'll do some of those wonderful pranayama practices today. So, Jay, I see Kristen Rose is there in the comments, which is amazing because you can always book a call with Kristen as well. So maybe we'll add that into the links because Jay is able to post links there in the chat, Kristen. So if you want to talk a little bit more about the Portugal retreat or the Yoga Nidra teacher training or anything like that, Kristen Rose is the person to get on a call with. Okay, so for the pre-practices, I'm going to explain what they are and I'm going to demonstrate them. And then I'm going to invite you to come into them and experience them. We'll be in one or the other, so you'll choose which one you'd like to do for around 3 to 5 minutes. And if for whatever reason, these are going to be prone postures, so laying on the belly postures. If for whatever reason, neither one of these pre-practice prone positions work for you, you could come straight into Shavasana instead, but know that we'll also be getting back up after the practice. Actually, maybe we should do the Surya practice first. So we'll do the Surya practice seated, and then we'll go into the 2 different postures. You'll choose one of them. I'll demonstrate those first, and then we'll go into a reclined position for Yoga Nidra practice, okay? So I'm going to demonstrate those postures, and then we'll go into our Surya Bedana practice. So this is a pranayama practice that I'll guide, and those are 2 great pre-practices. So the first option is going to be our crocodile pose. So some of you might be familiar with crocodile pose, Makara Asana. And this is a beautiful posture that symbolizes restfulness and awareness and patience. And then the other option will be a restorative posture, which is called bump on a log. And I am going to demonstrate both of these different positions. But if you're familiar with either or both and you know which one you'd like to come into, it'll just take me just a moment to explain it to the others. And then we'll come into our pranayama practice and then down into resting. So the Makara Asana, the crocodile pose, will come down into a laying position, and then one arm comes over top of the other, and the chin sort of rests there in the crook of the forearms. The toes and the feet rotate slightly externally. So the big toe edge of the foot will come to lay on the earth. So I'm going to demonstrate what that looks like now. Some of you might like to have a folded blanket for support. And this brings the belly down onto the earth. And then what we'll do is establish a full diaphragmatic breath, a Dirga pranayama to massage the belly, to massage the internal organs against the ground. So I'll demonstrate that one. This is the crocodile option. Let me just make sure you guys can see. Okay. So I'm going to turn my toes out like this, and then potential to have this for support, coming down into the posture. Okay, so pretty simple. That's the first option. The second option is called bump on a log pose. Now, this is a restorative posture that includes a bolster, or it could be a pillow that you have at home, something like that. And I'll demonstrate that one as well. But the main thing is to find the pointy hip bones, and we're going to line those hip bones up with the center of the bolster so that the rib cage isn't pressing into the bolster, but the low belly is. So I'll demonstrate that one. And you might even have some pillows or something for support for your feet. Take my pointy hip bones. I'm going to line them up with the center of my bolster and bring them right down onto the bolster. And then this is going to support my head. My heart, I'll come up so that you can hear me. My heart in that position is going to be resting on the earth. My rib cage is not on the bolster. My low belly and my hips are on the bolster. So then when we bring ourselves into that diaphragmatic breathing rhythm, the belly is actually going to massage not against the earth, but against the bolster. Okay, so hopefully everybody has what they need to explore that, those options. And then in honor of the summer solstice, I'll invite us to come into a pranayama practice together. So this pranayama is called Surya Bedana, the word Surya meaning the sun, and then Bedana is a word for piercing. So it's the solar piercing breath. This is from the ancient Sanskrit language, which we'll talk a little bit more, the ancient wisdom we'll talk a little bit more about at the end that somebody asked a question about. Wonderful. So in order to come into this pranayama, and we will be exploring it a little bit more in the Yoga Nidra practice itself, we'll bring the right hand into Vishnu Mudra. So it looks like this. The peace fingers come down towards the thumb. The right thumb blocks the right nostril, and then the ring finger blocks the left nostril. And there's actually marma points here, just sort of where that bony bit meets the cartilage. There's actually marma points there. So that's the point that you want to sort of stimulate in this mudra. Now, if this isn't comfortable for your hand, you could do something else with your hand that's more comfortable, or you can imagine. You can do the whole thing imagined, okay? Alrighty. So we'll bring the left hand into Yana Mudra, the right hand into Vishnu Mudra, and then if you feel comfortable to close down through the eyes, you can close down the eyes and just start to establish the breath deep down into your belly. Feeling the belly expand, and then drawing navel towards the spine. Relaxing the jaw. If you're familiar with Dirga Pranayama, begin to establish that full diaphragmatic breath, inhaling into the belly, the rib cage, the upper chest. Exhaling all three chambers together as navel draws in towards the center. Let's do that one more time. Belly, ribs, upper chest, and then releasing all three. Slowly, a long exhalation. You could stay with this and simply imagine, or you can begin by blocking the left nostril with the ring finger and inhaling through the right, a full diaphragmatic breath. Pausing at the top to switch sides, so the right nostril is blocked by the right thumb, and then releasing the breath fully. Then switching sides again. blocking the left nostril, inhaling. Pausing at the top, switching sides, and breathing out through the left side. So the right thumb comes to the right nostril as you exhale. And then we switch again. So each breath we're breathing in through the right, pausing to switch sides, and then breathing out through the left. And then we pause to switch sides again, inhaling. Switching sides, breathing out through the left. As you inhale through right side, you might imagine breath and energy flowing through the right side of your body. Switching sides, imagining breath and energy flowing down the left side of your body. In this circular way, so breathing in through the right, in and up. At your own pace, switching sides. Stimulating and balancing the solar rivers of the body, the solar energy channel. We'll do one more round like that. In through the right. Out through the left. And then releasing. Bringing the right hand now into Yana Mudra in the lap. And just taking a moment here to notice the effects of Surya Vedana, the solar piercing pranayama. A beautiful practice for the summer solstice, for those of us in the northern hemisphere. And then nice and slow, as you're ready, begin to transition into the prone position of your choice. So again, those options were Makara Asana, the crocodile pose, symbolizing restfulness, awareness, and patience, bringing the arms around each other and then chin resting in the nook of the forearms or the elbows, and the hips become a little bit externally rotated, so the big toe edges of the feet are moving out to the sides, just like I demonstrated earlier. Or you could come into bump on a log posture, lining the pointy hip bone, the front of the hip bones there, up with the center of your bolster, and coming down to rest with your low belly on top of the bolster. So in both positions, the belly is on the earth or on the bolster, and the low belly massages gently against the ground or the bolster. And so what we'll do is come into that comfortable position, take a few moments to find complete comfort, and remember, if either one of these options are not comfortable for you, you can come right into your relaxation position for Yoga Nidra. But we are going to be here for 3 to 5 minutes to your comfort. So know that the next posture will be Shavasana, or whatever your posture is for Yoga Nidra. So if you feel the need to release early, listen to your own wisdom, your own body's wisdom. So coming into crocodile pose now, or getting comfortable in bump on a log restorative posture, notice if there's anything you could do to get a little bit more comfortable in this posture, in this position. Notice if you could adjust the position of where your belly is resting or your hips against the bolster or the earth. If you're in bump on a log, be sure that your lower ribs aren't pressing into the bolster so you have enough space for the heart and the ribs to come down to the earth. And just begin to deepen the breath here, inhaling deep down into the belly and exhaling slowly. Inhaling to fill the belly like a balloon, and then the ribs, and then the upper chest. Exhaling all three regions together, slowly releasing. Inhaling to breathe into the belly, the ribs, the upper chest. Exhaling slowly, relaxing deeper down into the support of the ground. And as you establish this Dirga pranayama, this 3-part breath, notice your belly and your internal organs massaging against the earth, massaging against the ground. Continuing at your own pace with these deep diaphragmatic breaths into the belly, then the ribs and the upper chest. A 3-part breath, exhaling slowly as you melt a little deeper into the support of the ground. If you're in the bump on a log pose and you need to switch the direction that you're turning your head, or if you need to bring your head to neutral, just listen to your body anytime that you need to adjust for more comfort here. A little folded blanket or pillow can be nice beneath the forehead for a neutral neck. I'm just continuing here to massage the low belly where the enteric brain resides. This bundle of neurons that is being massaged so deeply by the breath here in this position. This bundle of neurons, so powerful to our nervous system that some scientists have coined the term our gut brain. In this bundle of neurons, the enteric brain sends 90% of the information that is passed between the cerebral brain and the gut brain to the cerebral brain. So our cognitive mind, our thinking mind, our cranium, the brain in our cranium sends only about 10% of information on this highway called the wandering nerve down into our gut. Yet our gut sends 90% of that information up to our cerebral brain. So massaging this cerebral brain through the gut is what we're trying to do here. These deep breaths into the belly, massaging gently this bundle of neurons, which then is sending out a signal to the entire nervous system, including the mind, the brain, that it is time to relax and rest, to slow down, to let go. Just a few more deep breaths here, filling the belly, massaging the gut and the internal organs. And just taking one or two more final breaths here before coming into your resting position for a Yoga Nidra practice. But notice the effects on your nervous system. Notice how you feel. Notice how powerful these pre-practices can be in establishing the state that's needed in the nervous system to go deeply relaxed in your Yoga Nidra practice. Just sensing the effects of these pre-practices that we've explored today. And then begin to come out of the posture as slowly, mindfully, keeping your awareness as internalized as possible, with as little effort as possible, gently pressing yourself up and coming over into your Yoga Nidra nest. So that might involve bringing a bolster beneath your knees, maybe a blanket over top of your body, maybe a covering over your eyes to block out the light. Take a few moments here now to settle into the most comfortable position for your Yoga Nidra practice. And know that today, that this practice has the option to be dedicated to the summer solstice. In the northern hemisphere, today we experience the longest day of the year. Today and tomorrow. And it's time to celebrate the abundance of light and warmth. And you might even make the intention now as you settle in that this practice will bring forth and integrate the energy of the summer solstice, promoting balance, vitality, abundance, and inner harmony. So taking a moment now to settle into the ground beneath you. And we'll just take a couple of deep breaths here to settle in. Breathing in through the nose. Filling the lungs comfortably to their capacity and pausing before exhaling through the mouth. Releasing tension. Letting go of stress. Inhaling deeply through the nose. Pausing and then releasing slowly. And let's do one more like that, in through the nose. And exhaling to settle even deeper, deeper down into the earth. Begin to let your jaw soften even more. Your tongue. Releasing any tension you might be holding in the eyes, the forehead, and allowing yourself to open to the experience of sound. Experience of sound, sounds in the distance, sounds close to you in your environment. And sensing the physical body resting on the earth and all of the points where your body meets the earth beneath you, lending its support. And for this practice today, you might have your own heart's desire, your own primary sankalpa, or you might welcome a special word or phrase or feeling that resonates with you around this warmth and light and abundance of the solstice. Perhaps to embrace the light within, to cultivate inner peace, to connect with the energy of the solstice in some way. It could sound like, I am filled with the light and the warmth of the sun. Or I embrace the abundance and vitality of this summer season. Or I am balanced, calm, and at peace. Or perhaps I radiate confidence and inner strength. So noticing and welcoming your sankalpa today and repeating your intention silently 3 times. Welcoming your sankalpa now with your whole body, your heart, and mind. And now bringing attention to the different regions of the body, a rotation of consciousness. Could you bring all of your attention to the sensations at the center of the forehead? From the center of the forehead to the right eye, the left eye, the right ear, the left ear, the right nostril and the flow of air inside the nose, the left nostril and the flow of air inside the nose, the upper lip, the lower lip, the roof of the mouth, inside of the right cheek, inside of the left cheek, the top teeth and gums, the lower teeth and gums, the right side of the tongue, left side of the tongue, the root of the tongue, the whole lower jaw. Sensation of the whole lower jaw. Bringing attention now into the throat center. The base of the throat. The heart center. The right side of the chest. Right shoulder. Elbow. Wrist. Center of the palm. Each of the fingertips, starting with the thumb. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Letting attention migrate all the way back up the arm into the right side of the chest, back to the heart center, to the left side of the chest, the left shoulder, elbow, wrist, center of the palm of the hand, each of the fingertips starting with the thumb. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Letting attention gently migrate back up the left arm into the left side of the chest, the heart center, to the diaphragm, gently rising and falling. Sensing the breath here at the Manipura chakra. You might imagine you could breathe in and out here at the point just above the navel. And then letting your attention gently cascade down into the pelvis, sensing the pelvic bowl over to the right hip, the knee, ankle, sole of the right foot, and then moving through the tips of the toes, starting with the big toe. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Letting attention slowly migrate back all the way up the leg to the right hip, and sensing the bowl of the pelvis over to the left hip, the knee, ankle, center of the sole of the left foot, moving through each of the toes, starting with the big toe. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All 5 toes. Awareness Gently migrating back up the left leg to the pelvis, sensing the bowl of the pelvis, and then sensing the whole belly and the chest, the whole belly and the chest, breathing. Noticing the natural rhythm of your inhalation and each exhalation. You might imagine as you breathe in, breathing in the warm golden light of the sun. With each exhalation, letting go of any tension, allowing it to dissolve into the earth, like you're basking in rays of golden sunlight. Each inhale, breathing in the golden light of the sun, filling your body with vitality and energy. Each exhale, releasing anything no longer needed into the earth. Tension, stress, just dissolving, letting it go. Breathing in warm, golden light of the sun. Exhale, releasing. And you might continue here, just naturally, effortlessly breathing. Inhaling, imagining the light of the sun, filling your whole body with warmth and vitality. Exhaling to release stress and tension, inertia into the earth. As an option, just an option, you might imagine breathing in through the right side foot, up towards the crown of the head, switching sides to exhale and breathe energy down the left side. On the inhale, bringing awareness back to the right side. Inhaling breath and energy up the right side body to the crown of the head, pausing, switching sides. Exhaling left. A psychic Surya. Inhaling right. Exhaling left. Honoring the river of the sun within you. Inhaling, just imagining, breathing up the right side of the body. Exhaling down the left. There's no right or wrong way to do this. Just simply imagining. And then you might welcome now the whole right side of the body. Just resting awareness in the whole right side of the body, basking in the warmth and the light of the sun. The whole right side of the body. And then bringing attention over to the whole left side of the body. The whole left side of the body basking in the light, the shimmering light and energy of the sun. Basking in the warmth of the light. And then welcoming both sides of the body. Both sides of the body simultaneously simmering in the vital energy and sensation of warmth. This light of the sun. Imagine these rays of light healing each and every cell in your body, trillions of cells. And as you lay here, sensing the entire body, could you imagine yourself lying in a lush, vibrant field on a sunny day, continuing to feel the warmth of the sun on your skin, the gentle, warm breeze caressing your face, dancing in your hair, and the sounds of nature around you. The symphony of birds, the wind in the leaves, and the distant hum of insects. And as you lie quietly, imagine that golden sun high above, radiating light and warmth. And you might even be able to welcome that sense of light beyond your eyelids, welcoming the sensation of warmth. Imagining the sky and its brilliant blue, fluffy white clouds drifting slowly. And the sun's rays stretch out like golden pillars, reaching down to touch the earth and everything around you. In this field, wildflowers bloom in vibrant colors, reds, yellows, purples, and blues. Each one a tiny celebration of life and light. Tall grasses sway gently in the breeze, their tops shimmering like waves in a green sea. A majestic eagle soars gracefully through the sky. Its wings spread wide, a symbol of strength and vision. As the eagle circles above, its keen eyes watching over the land, you feel the connection between earth and sky, between the seen and the unseen. As you rest here, imagine this golden light of the sun flowing down into your body, filling you with warmth, energy, healing, spreading to every cell. Envision this light illuminating every cell in your body, energizing and renewing you. And could you imagine this light pooling now in your solar plexus, in the center of your being, Manipura chakra. The light pools here, charging your internal battery, filling you with vitality, life force energy. You might imagine as you breathe in, breathing in to your solar plexus, drawing in that vitality and abundance of the summer season. As you exhale, releasing anything that no longer serves you into the earth beneath you. As you lay here, resting deeply, feeling the profound sense of connection to the natural world, to the energy of the solstice. Could you allow this connection with all that there is, all of nature, to fill you with a sense of peace, renewal, gratitude? Basking in the light of the sun, the light of awareness. Feeling the shimmering energy, the prana, the life force energy within you and all around you. And as you rest here, you might once again welcome your sankalpa. Welcoming your sankalpa to be all around you, shimmering in the light and life force energy. And begin to slowly bring awareness back to your breath, feeling the rise and fall of your abdomen, sensing your physical body resting here and the sensations. What have you cultivated here within yourself, within this practice? You might begin to deepen the breath here, inhaling through the nose, exhaling through the mouth, in through the nose, out through the mouth. Just a few more breaths like this. At your own pace, as you begin to gently move the fingers and the toes, gradually awakening your body. You might take a few moments here connecting the thumbs to each of the fingertips and just gently massaging the fingertips, feeling the sensations. You might roll the ankles, the wrists, or maybe taking a full body stretch or hugging knees into your heart. You might even feel ready to roll to one side, coming into a fetal position, a side laying position. And as you lay here resting, just taking a moment to acknowledge the light and energy within you. You might hold the intention to carry this feeling of light, of vital energy with you as you move throughout the rest of your day and your week. And I'm going to give you all some time to transition slowly at your own pace. But I thought it would be nice to conclude our Yoga Nidra practice with that first question of what are some of the summer solstice rituals that you might bring in this week? So honoring the summer solstice and what might we do? So there are lots of ways that we could honor and celebrate this solstice, and I'll talk about some of the ways that feel aligned for me, and you might share in the comments any integration rituals that you have around this time of year. Wisdom from Ayurveda can deepen our connection as well to this significant day, and reminding us that nature is really full of patterns. And as humans, we love finding and creating these patterns and repeating them. And so that's at the core of ritual. So the repetition of words or actions, this is representing something that's bigger than ourselves. So rituals can provide us with a way to pause and create memories and imprint moments into our minds. And they can really sanctify events and create reverence for both the developed world, but in the summer solstice, really what we're honoring and connecting to is the natural world. So we'll talk a little bit more about some of the ancient wisdom that I so often refer to here on this channel. And one of these ancient wisdom systems is the ancient Ayurvedic system, the medicine of India. And this emphasizes the importance of daily rituals like a dinacharya practice or seasonal routines like a ritucharya practice. And these routines might include specific asanas or pranayamas, like today, our practicing of the solar channel breathing, mantras, mudras, dietary recommendations, even tailored to the time of day or the season. And by aligning with these practices and these rhythms, it can really promote a sense of balance and harmony within ourselves. So also Vedic astrology as well, which is a sort of a branch of Ayurveda, Jyotish astrology, recognizes the planetary influences as well, which I'm not so qualified to speak about, but we can always look to some of these wisdoms when bringing in practices that help to foster and align with these energies and greater balance and well-being within ourselves. It's really all about aligning ourselves with nature, the natural world. We are a part of nature after all. So how might we celebrate the summer solstice with Ayurvedic rituals? And we'll be bringing a lot of this into our summer solstice gathering tomorrow in the online studio. So those of you who are here that are members of our online studio, please make note that we have our solstice gathering tomorrow afternoon at the same time that this started, actually, so 2 p.m. EST. So on the summer solstice, as we welcome this longest day of the year, a time of abundant light and energy, how might we celebrate this from an Ayurvedic perspective or from a yogic perspective, from this ancient wisdom perspective? A sunrise meditation could be one. Investigate the exact time of the sunrise where you live, and then you might set an alarm for a few minutes before the sun rises. And then bringing in something like the Gayatri mantra could be a really nice one to meditate on, or a Surya practice like we just went through today. A Surya practice as the sun rises could be a really powerful way to connect to the solar energy at this time of year. Sun salutations, of course, would be a lovely one. Doing maybe 5 rounds of Surya Namaskar. One of my teachers who I'll speak about when we go over some of this, talk about the ancient wisdom. One of my teachers, Indu, talks about how it's not necessary to do 108 sun salutations on the summer solstice. It's not recommended or necessary. So for those of you who might see that and feel a little bit intimidated by it, 5, maybe 3 could be nice. Self-care and attire. So traditionally, colors that honor the sun could be brought in, such as white or gold or orange. Oh, I'm so glad that you found that deeply relaxing, Stefano. Summer fruits, you could bring in some summer fruits like peaches, nectarines, berries. Right where I live right now, it's strawberry season, and this is really to celebrate the abundance of the season. I'm so glad you feel so relaxed, Jess. That's wonderful. And Stefano is very deeply relaxed. A nature walk is something that I like to bring in on the summer solstice. Preferably somewhere where you can see like the trees and flowers in full bloom, and just connecting to that beauty, that prana, that vitality of the natural world. And then for an evening meditation, you could even bring in an evening meditation at sunset. Would be beautiful, giving yourself that ability to do sort of a tratak meditation on the sun. So a Surya meditation on the sun setting can be really nice. Yeah, and in terms of the seasonal, the Richacharya focus, there's this wisdom of Ayurveda that tells us that this time of year, in the northern hemisphere anyways, is Pitta season. And so bringing in practices that are actually cooling. So you might imagine in that the hottest time of the day, just imagining like a cooling, soothing energy enveloping you, or in your Yoga Nidra practice, a soothing, cooling energy, tranquility, a sense of calm, cooling, tranquility washing over you. Or as we practice today, working with Manipura chakra. So this is the chakra that's associated with sort of like your internal battery, your internal sense of energy and vitality, and it's associated to fire and radiating warmth and strength. So just you might imagine this light within yourself, within your center, just allowing it to grow and expand, and just imagining your entire being just full of confidence and vitality. Could be a really nice one. And then I'll just go over those affirmations again that I mentioned at the beginning of the practice. I'm filled with the light and warmth of the sun. I embrace the abundance and vitality of the summer season. I am balanced, calm, and at peace. I radiate confidence and inner strength. So those are some things that you might bring in. And like I said, there's in the online studio tomorrow, for those of you who are members of our online studio, we have our solstice gathering tomorrow. So it's a ritual that'll take place at 2 p.m. And so if anybody is not a part of the studio, but you'd like to join us tomorrow, you are welcome to try a 2-week free trial. Jay has posted, my husband Jay has posted the link in the chat there. It says 2-week free trial. Oh, he's posting it again. Thank you, Jay. So you could always come and join us. Our winter solstice ritual was one of our studio members' most favorite events of the year so far. Well, I guess it would have been last year now at this point. So that's something that you could join us in if you like. Okay, let's go to the next question. So in your recordings, you talk about the ancient wisdom of Yoga Nidra that comes from India. Can you speak more about that? Yes, I can. Wonderful, wonderful question. And for this question, I brought a little bit of notes so that I don't forget some of the timings of some of these different. I want to just dive into a few texts that I think that you guys will really appreciate learning a little bit more about how ancient some of this wisdom is. And of course, it's much more ancient even than the texts show us, because before things began becoming scribed down, they were really sort of orally transmitted through people through the centuries. So there's so much to share about this, and it could really take me a really, really long time. So I'm going to do my best to answer this in a shorter amount of time. Let's start with the fact that the first references of Yoga Nidra or Yoga Nidra come from a very ancient texts. And some of them are like the Rig Veda, which is some of the oldest texts in the world. The Rig Veda is estimated to be around 1500 BCE. And these are ancient Sanskrit texts. So they come from the wisdom keepers native to the regions of Southeast Asia and India. And there are many references to Nidra or Yoga Nidra in these ancient texts and wisdom. And today I want to touch on at least 3 of those different ways that they're referred to. And for those of you who might be here from India, please excuse my English accent as I try to share some of this with you. So the first thing I wanted to share about was Yoga Nidra as a state. So many of you have heard me talk about Yoga Nidra as a state of mind. And if we look at the Patanjali Yoga Sutras, which are dating back to around the second century BCE, verses 110 and 138. So verses 110 describes Yoga Nidra as a deep state, a dream sleep state, a deep state of sleep characterized by the absence of other mental activities. So that we might think of delta slow wave sleep, unconscious sleep. And 138 highlights focusing on the state of deep sleep to stabilize and tranquilize the mind. So bringing our mind into a sense of stability and tranquility. And then there's also the Mandukya Upanishad, which is one of the principal Upanishads that is dated around 500 BCE. In this text describes the state of deep sleep, also known as susupti. These words are a little bit tricky for me in my accent, where one does not desire or dream. So becoming an undifferentiated mass of consciousness, which is blissful. Okay, so many of you might be familiar with this description. You may have experienced something that sounds a little bit like this in your practice. Let me know in the chat if you're resonating with that description from that transliteration, I should say, to English from the Upanishads. So it's described as a deep sleep where one does not desire or dream, becoming an undifferentiated mass of consciousness, which is blissful. Okay? Let me know if that resonates. The second type, let me just see if we've got any comments here about that. Yeah, tranquility and bliss, yes. Yeah, I'm sure many of you can relate. The second type of reference that I'd love to touch on is Yoga Nidra as a goddess. So you might be less familiar with this reference about Yoga Nidra if you're from the West. And the Rig Veda, which is one of the oldest texts in the world, that's the one I was saying dates back to around 1500 BCE. And the let me just make sure I'm doing this right. Vidoka Ratri Suktam, the Rig Veda, there's a hymn within the Rig Veda. This is the hymn within the Rig Veda that describes Yoga Nidra as the divine night, personified as the goddess Ratri, or Kali, who represents primordial darkness and the controller of bondage and liberation. Okay, there's also more references in these ancient texts and wisdom about the goddess. So there is the Devi Mahatmyam, hopefully I'm saying that slightly right, which is composed between the 4th and 6th centuries, sometime in there. And this text includes the Tentroktra, there we go, Tentroktra Ratri Suktam, which refers to Yoga Nidra as a goddess in verses 1 and 10. So in verse 1, praises the goddess of night, which is also known as Vishwashwari, and the sustainer of the universe. So it's praising the goddess of the night as the sustainer of the universe, whose divine sleep is the state of Yoga Nidra. And then verse 10 highlights the goddess as the supreme beauty and embodiment of the three kinds of night. The three kinds of night being Kali Ratri, or human sleep, Maha, or is it Moha? Yeah, Moharatri, divine awakening, and Maharatri, the night of dissolution. So these are a few of the references of Yoga Nidra as a goddess. Let me know in the comments below if you're familiar with this idea of Yoga Nidra, of the goddess of Yoga Nidra. And then the third thing that I'll touch on from the ancient texts is this sort of the signs of a practitioner, the signs of someone with a regular Yoga Nidra practice. So first there is the Yoga Vasistha. Yoga Vasistha, I'm probably not saying that one correctly. Yoga Vasistha, which was composed between the 10th and 14th centuries. And this describes the state of Yoga Nidra as a form of thoughtless, meditative, aware silence, indicating a deep state of mental tranquility and mindfulness. So it's describing that state once again, but also what comes from that state, which is tranquility and mindfulness. So it's said that one who practices Yoga Nidra regularly has this deep sense of unshakable mental tranquility and peace. And then there's the Aditya Hridayam. That one's tricky too. It's a part of the Ramayana. In around the 4th to 5th century, this text comes from. And this refers to Yoga Nidra as the witness of witnesses. Okay, highlighting the deep awareness and consciousness achieved through a regular practice. Many of you might be familiar with this term, the witness. We have a whole module on the witness in our online Yoga Nidra teacher training. Those of you who have experienced module 6 of our training will have a very deep understanding of the witness consciousness. There are many more references that we could explore. And these are some of the verses and sutras that I've been able to study with my mentor, Indu Aurora. And I think that these ancient texts really beautifully illustrate the depth and the multifaceted nature of Yoga Nidra. So they emphasize not a particular technique, you might notice. There's no techniques that are being referenced. There's not a set of techniques that are being referenced in these texts, but more Yoga Nidra's significance as a state of consciousness, as a divine entity, as a transformational practice. So hopefully that helps to answer that question a little bit. What am I speaking to when I come to talk about, this ancient wisdom that comes from India? Hopefully that gives you a little bit more about that. A feeling of coming back from somewhere else, not sure where I went, but maybe it's that undifferentiated massive consciousness. I love that, Kate. Yeah, deep dreamless sleep. Yes, thank you for putting that in, Stefano from Restful Stillness. Yes, the witness of witnesses would be an awesome line for a script. That's funny. Yes. And Sylvia's saying, amazing Yoga Nidra training. Yes, so Jay is sharing there in the chat the link for the Yoga Nidra training. If anybody wants to download the information package and learn more about that, we go really deep into this stuff, really deep. This is just a little tiny taste of the type of thing that we go into. Okay, what are some of the best asanas or restorative postures for Yoga Nidra pre-practices? So one of the reasons that we did those pre-practices today was because of this question that somebody brought in today. So, Carol's saying, thank you, Ally, I love the goddess Yoga Nidra. Yes. So those practices, the crocodile posture, and the bump on a log posture are some of the best asanas, in my opinion, to do before the Yoga Nidra because of that effect that they have on the nervous system through massaging the enteric brain. If you guys remember that, back to that part of the practice all those many minutes ago. So yeah, one of my absolute favorite practices to integrate and bring in as a pre-practice for Yoga Nidra is restorative yoga. So some of you know we have a restorative yoga teacher training. We have lots of graduates that are out in the world sharing restorative yoga. And our restorative yoga teacher training brings in the wisdom of Ayurveda and the lunar cycles. So we're going on this deep exploration of the lunar cycles and the moon and all of the different postures to learn. And some of these postures and the practices that we teach in the restorative training are some of the most powerful pre-practices for coming before Yoga Nidra practice. So if you're a Yoga Nidra teacher and you have some students who maybe have a little bit of like racing mind, there are some types of Yoga Nidra trainings out there where there's really no focus on these pre-practices at all. It's like you go into these 10 steps and then boom, you're done. And there's no like pre or post practices. So in my opinion, it's really important to know and be able to share some of these pre and post practices. For example, in module 3 in our Yoga Nidra training, we go over all of these different pranayama techniques to soothe the nervous system that people can teach before a Yoga Nidra practice. And then these 2 asanas that we explored at the beginning here, one of them comes from our restorative yoga teacher training. One of them comes from, well, they come from ancient wisdom. They're all based on these ancient wisdom teachings. But those particular practices that if you wanted to learn from me, or you could learn them in another teacher training, the crocodile pose comes more from our 200-hour teacher training. So we have an embodied wisdom 200-hour teacher training as well. So those are some of the postures that I would recommend before coming into Yoga Nidra that will really help to soothe and calm the nervous system. And if anybody's interested in diving a little bit deeper into some of this restorative yoga around the full moon, I would love to get Jay to put in the chat. We have so many free resources for you guys, and the full moon is coming up very quickly here. And so I would love to put in the chat a link to the playlist for one of our full moon restorative yoga immersions. So this will be a 5-day immersion where you dive into restorative yoga around some of the full moon time. So if you'd like to do that over the next couple of days, that would be a lovely thing to explore, is a full moon restorative yoga immersion. And it's 5 days. It's go at your own pace. You can grab the link from the chat if that resonates with you. Okay, and then so we have 2 more questions here. One of them is from a life coach about mindset, and one of them is, do you have live in-person Yoga Nidra and yoga trainings? Okay, so somebody put that one in the chat here as well, so I'll do that one first. So although we don't have live in-person yoga and Yoga Nidra trainings at the moment, we have had them in the past. In fact, that's how we started out at the School of Living Yoga, was with all of our trainings being live and in person, Tina and I guiding those together in Ontario, Canada. And we took all of our trainings online during the pandemic. And although we aren't currently running live trainings, Tina has a brand new little baby at the moment. She's sort of on her first year of mat leave. Oh, actually, she's turning 1 later this week, which is very exciting. We are not doing live trainings right now. However, many of our students from around the globe that take all of our different online trainings, the Yoga Nidra teacher training, the restorative yoga teacher training, the embodied wisdom 200-hour yoga teacher training, a lot of those students will come on a 1-week retreat with us where we'll dive into some workshops in real life together. So we'll spend a week together somewhere like Costa Rica. Our next one is in Portugal. We have one coming up in Chile. We have some retreats, week-long retreats this winter in Costa Rica. So there are lots of different opportunities to come and augment our online trainings, because many people don't live close to us in Ontario, Canada. We live in an area that's not highly populated with people compared to the rest of the world. So these are really beautiful ways to learn with us, is to take an online training and then come do something in person with us where we dive a little bit deeper into some workshops and just do a lot of sadhana together, a lot of practicing together, where all of the food is taken care of. And it's just a week of sort of diving really, really deep into practice and teachings and connecting with nature together. We're often doing these types of things like in the heart of nature somewhere, whether it's in the jungles of Costa Rica or in the mountains of Chile. There's some really cool options out there. So I'll get Jay actually to post some links in the chat there about retreats, where you can download information about the retreats. And also, I believe we only have 2 or 3 spots left for our Portugal retreat coming up in September. So if you'd like to learn about that, learn about it as soon as possible and get registered as soon as possible before those last spots are gone. And then, Julie's saying, did you say you have a training near Kingston? We don't have a training near Kingston. However, next June, we're going to be having a retreat near Kingston at a place called Bloom. And so if you actually go to the website, I'll get Jay to post. So Jay's posting the details for the Chile retreat, the information package for the Chile retreat. If you want to download the information packages for all of the other retreats like Costa Rica, Portugal, this one near Kingston in Ontario next summer in June, download that information package, and then you're going to get on our priority wait list where you get like updated about where are we going next, how many spots are available, how to reserve your spot, and that sort of thing. So those are beautiful opportunities to do a live workshops and sadhanas with us, with myself and some of the other faculty at the School of Living Yoga that run all of these different trainings that we've done over the years, many of them which are now online. Okay, last question is, I am a life coach and I think Yoga Nidra could benefit my clients for their mindset. Do I need to be a yoga teacher in order to guide my clients in Yoga Nidra? Okay, so this is a great question. Hi, Alexandra from Poland. Great to see you here. There's so many people from the training here, which is lovely to see you guys in the chat. So you do not need to be a yoga teacher to guide Yoga Nidra. However, I would say morally and ethically, you do need to be certified as a Yoga Nidra guide, a Yoga Nidra teacher. So there's a lot of people out there that are just sort of copying other people's scripts or getting AI to create scripts for them and just sort of like reading off of a page. So I like to let people understand how important it is to have an embodied wisdom of the practice and to be able to guide from your own state of Yoga Nidra, your own wisdom, your own state of Yoga Nidra, and your own energy that's going to transmit to your students. This is all very important. Also, Yoga Nidra might seem simple, guiding it might seem simple on the surface, but it's really a depth of information and knowledge and wisdom. There's information to learn that gets integrated as wisdom and then becomes embodied wisdom over time and practice. And so that's how our training really works, is diving deep into that process of your own practice, referring your guidance and how you are out there sharing in the world, so that we don't have people that maybe don't have the skills or knowledge out there in the world just sort of reading off a page that they downloaded off of the internet or whatever that looks like. Also, our training specifically, I can't speak to other trainings, we go so deep into manamaya kosha, into the realms of thought work, how to extract the vritti, a thought wave, how to sort of map out what is that thought creating in our bodies in terms of like an emotional response. What is that emotional response creating in our lives? What actions are we taking or not taking from that mood or emotion that's being created by our thought patterns? How do we even find out what our thought patterns are? What are some of our limiting beliefs? How are they affecting us in our life in this, what we would call the law of karma, the cycle of karma? So we really go deep into all of that stuff. And it's sort of like what one of my teachers would call like a karmic fire, an internal karmic fire, where we kind of burn up a lot of these patterns that are not necessarily helpful to our lives. And so in this way, a mindset coach could really bring Yoga Nidra to their clients, to their community, in this really specified and helpful way of helping them to extract their potentially limiting or negative thought patterns. There are some samskaras that are unhelpful. And then helping them to create a secondary sankalpa, what we call a secondary sankalpa, to help rewire naturally and effortlessly through the process of Yoga Nidra that particular limiting pattern into a new one that is going to help them flourish in this life. So I hope that that wasn't too much of a rant. Kate is in the comments saying that she took the restorative training and loved it. Jess, you have a question about the online studio? Yes, please bring your questions to Laura. If you have Laura's email address, she's the best person to email about anything relating to the online studio. So her email address is Loretta Dunford, and you can always reach out to me if you need her address. And Kate is saying, yes, the restorative is gentle and slow. I've just completed that training and it's amazing. Thank you, Kate. I recommend trying some of the immersion videos with Ally, Tina, Kristen, and Laura. Yes. So again, we've got that full moon immersion that's free. It's 5 days. You can check it out if you like. Jay posted that link in the chat. Yes, and then Stefano is saying, yes, inserting restful pauses, creating smooth transitions, transmitting calm and rest through your voice and through your energy, crafting your own specific scripts for your own specific applications to help your own communities, guiding through transmission. These are all things that we go over in depth in the training, in the Yoga Nidra training. Yes, wonderful. Okay, Kate is saying full moon and Vata season immersions are my favorite. Okay, so we also have a Vata season immersion, although we're coming into Pitta season in the Northern Hemisphere. As some of you might be in Vata season in a different part of the world, like I know that they're going into the winter solstice right now in the Southern Hemisphere, so that Vata season immersion would be great for anybody that's tuning in here from the Southern Hemisphere. Yes, and Jess is saying all of that and more, in the Yoga Nidra training. Yeah, we really dived deep in that training. Okay, I think that is all of the questions that we had for today. Thank you all so much. There's so many of you who have stuck around for these questions. I really appreciate you all being here. I hope you enjoyed those pre-practices today. Remember that this will be posted on my channel in the live section as a replay, so you can always come back to this if you want to re-listen to anything. Yes, for those of you who are in the online studio, I hope to see you at our Solstice gathering tomorrow. It's going to be beautiful. And thank you, Antoinette. Thank you, Agatha. Thank you, Isabel, Jess, Kate, Emma, Stefano, Tracy. Yes, bonjour from France. Yes. Okay, Tracy, you're signed up for the Yoga Nidra training. Okay. So I don't know if you've joined the online studio or not, but you do have like a free trial, a special free trial that you can use. I don't know if you've utilized that yet or not, but you can find it in the welcome module. So there's a special link to the online studio where you can check it out and sign up. Okay, loved the crocodile pose. That's great. Yes, yes. And thank you all so much. Thank you, thank you. Let's close out with an Om together, bringing hands to the heart. Deep breath in. May you be happy, may you be healthy, may you be peaceful, may you be free. Thank you so much for being here. Namaste.